Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive.
Excited to be back.
Today we're digging into something a little different. My Spanish isn't great, to be honest.
Mine either, unfortunately.
But I found these notes from a Spanish YouTube tutorial about video editing on CapCut, and even with the language barrier, the creator's passion for editing, it just jumps out at you.
100%. Passion like that, it's contagious even through a different language.
And that's what we're all about here, right? Uncovering those core principles, those little sparks of brilliance that can really level up your skills no matter what language they're in.
Exactly. Like sometimes it's not even about the words, It's about the way someone approaches the craft, the excitement they bring to it.
And this creator, let me tell you, they were so into organization and keyboard shortcuts, called them insider secrets. Little dramatic, but hey, it caught my attention.
And for good reason. Organization, it's the unsung hero of video editing.
Yeah.
If you're bogged down searching for the right file or clicking through endless menus, that creative flow is gone. Poof.
It's so true. It's happened to me more times than I can count.
Right. But if you've got a system, a clearer way of managing your files, you can stay in that zone. And keyboard shortcuts, those are game changers.
Absolutely. Huge time savers. And they really do make you feel like you're working on a whole other level. More efficient, more professional.
Speaking of professional, one thing that struck me was how much the creator emphasized CapCut's similarities to professional editing software.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't shy about it at all. Really hammered home the point that even though it's free and accessible to everyone, you're still learning those industry standard techniques.
It's empowering.
It is. It's like you don't have to invest thousands in fancy software to get started.
Yeah.
You can learn the ropes, develop your skills, all with a free tool.
Yeah.
And these insider secrets like good file management and those keyboard shortcuts, they're not just for pros. They're for anyone who wants to work smarter, not harder. And that's something this creator stressed over and over again. Like it was a mantra, work smarter, not harder.
And that starts right from the get-go, with planning your video format.
Oh yeah, they were big on that.
Huge before you even hit that record button.
Like choosing between landscape and portrait and all that. Exactly. It seems obvious. But you'd be surprised how many people, myself included sometimes, get caught up in the excitement of filming and forget this crucial first step.
Oh, tell me about it. I've been there. You edit the whole thing and then boom, it's like, wait, this doesn't fit Instagram?
Exactly. And then you're stuck cropping or resizing and it never looks quite right.
So thinking about where your video is going to live right from the start, that's key.
Exactly. Social media, YouTube, a presentation, whatever it is, having that end goal in mind saves you so much hassle later on.
It's like, what's that saying? Measure twice, cut once.
100%. Speaking of which, this actually ties into a really neat tip the creator shared about the Canvas tool in CapCut.
Okay, yeah, I was curious about that.
Have you ever had that issue where you're trying to fit a rectangular video into a square format?
Ugh, all the time. Those black bars are the worst.
Right. But the Canvas tool, it's like this secret weapon for dealing with those situations.
Really? How so?
It lets you adjust the background, add padding, even get a little creative with it. They have this clever trick where they used blur to kind of disguise the black bars.
So instead of just having these harsh black lines, you've got this.
Exactly. It's like a soft fade, almost cinematic.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm going to have to try that. Now, let's talk about rhythm, because this creator, they were all about it.
Ah, yes, the music analogy. They really dove deep into that.
Deep dive, literally. But they were spot on. Using music as a guide for your cuts, it just makes sense.
It's like giving your video a heartbeat, They even included this little snippet of rock music in their tutorial to illustrate the point.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember how it went?
I do. Hang on. I think I have it right here. Snippet of upbeat rock music plays. Catchy, right?
I can see how that would get you in the editing groove.
Totally. And the creator broke it down, like how each beat could influence where you cut, how it builds momentum and creates a certain feel.
They said it was like the video is dancing to the music.
Yeah, which I thought was a really cool way to visualize it. It's not just about throwing clips together. It's about finding the flow, the natural points of emphasis.
Like a conversation almost.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, you don't need to be a musician to grasp this. It's about training your eye to see those moments, those beats, within the footage itself.
So paying attention to pacing, to how long you hold a shot, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's all connected. And once you start noticing it, you can't unsee it. You start to develop that intuitive sense of timing and flow. But let's talk about some of those really cool editing tools, because CapCut has some surprisingly powerful features.
Like superimposition, that one sounds kind of complex.
It's actually way simpler than it sounds. Basically, think of it like layering, when you stack things on top of each other.
Okay, yeah.
It's like that, but with video clips or images. So instead of just having one track of video, you can have multiple layers happening at the same time.
So if you wanted to add like a logo to your video or some text that pops up on the screen.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
got it. The creator even used it to, layer old film grain over a modern video to give it that vintage look.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like those filters that make your photos look like they're from the 70s.
I love those. It's amazing how such a small detail can totally change the whole vibe.
Right. And it's all about those little touches. Yeah.
No, keyframes, I'll be honest, those still kind of mystify me.
Yeah, they can be a bit tricky to wrap your head around at first, but they're super powerful once you get the hang of them. Think of them like markers in time that let you control how something looks or moves in your video.
Okay.
So let's say you want your title card to slide in from the side instead of just popping up suddenly. You would use keyframes to set its position off-screen at the beginning and then on-screen at the end, and CapCut would smoothly animate the movement between those 2 points.
Oh, so it's how you get those really slick, professional-looking animations?
Exactly. And it's not just for simple movements either. You can change the size of things, make them fade in or out, even create those cool Ken Burns effects, where a still image zooms and pans across the screen.
Okay, now that you're explaining it like that, it's actually starting to make sense. So from basic transitions to fancy effects, keyframes can do it all.
Pretty much. They give you a lot of control over how your video unfolds over time.
Now, this creator, they really caught my attention with chroma key. They mentioned something about a headless man, which honestly sounds both terrifying and intriguing.
I know, right? Very dramatic. But it's a great way to illustrate what chroma key is all about. Basically, it's all about those green screens you see in movies and TV shows.
Wow.
So you film someone in front of a green screen, and then in CapCut, you tell it to make that specific shade of green transparent. And then you can replace it with whatever background you want. So in the tutorial, they showed how to make it look like someone's head is just floating in midair, which sounds kind of creepy, but it's actually pretty cool.
That's really cool. And it's not just for crazy special effects, right? You could use that to, remove a distracting background from a video you shot at home.
Absolutely. It's a surprisingly versatile tool. The creator seemed really excited about CapCut's audio features, too. Apparently, it's got a lot to offer on that front.
Yeah, they were saying it has, built-in music, and you can record voiceovers directly in the app.
Super convenient. And then there was this feature they were really raving about, extract audio.
Extract audio.
Yeah, it lets you grab the audio track from any video and use it however you want.
Oh, wow. So, if you wanted to snag a specific soundbite from a movie clip or something.
Exactly. It's like, hello, new ringtone. Although, obviously, copyright is a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, for sure. Always got to be mindful of that, especially if you're sharing your videos publicly. Speaking of which, I think we've covered a lot today. From basic file organization all the way to these, mind-blowing tools like chroma key and keyframe animation.
It's pretty incredible what you can do with free software these days, right?
Totally. So before we wrap up, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with today?
For me, it's that video editing. It's not this scary, impossible thing that only professionals can do. With a bit of curiosity, the right tools, and a willingness to just play around and experiment, anyone can start bringing their creative visions to life.
Absolutely. We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, given you a glimpse of what's possible, and maybe even inspired you to try something new. So go out there, have fun, experiment, and who knows, you might just surprise yourself with what you create. Until next time, happy editing.